Hey everybody, it's Tony Vaughn, and I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about taxes. I know, not very exciting, but I promise I've got some valuable information. So just hang with me for the next couple minutes, and hopefully you can take away some good stuff. So if you haven't already filed your taxes, Monday is the tax filing deadline, and whether you have or you haven't, if you are going to get a few $100s or maybe a few $1,000s, whatever it ends up being in your taxes back, this message is for you, and for two reasons. But the first reason is I want to tell you something. There have been some studies that have taken place over the last few years that illustrate that anywhere between maybe 60% to 70% or so of Americans could not scramble $1,000 if an unexpected emergency came up. So my tip is that, and I know it's not exciting, but put the money that you get in a tax rebate and put it into a separate account, not in your main account where you make all your other expenses from, but put it in a separate account so that if you did have an emergency, you already have that, at least if you only get a few $100s back, then start there. If you get a few $1,000s back, then start there. But the young people that I work with, I advocate for working your way up, starting with $1,000 in what I like to call a relax fund, because it helps you relax, all the way up to 6 months worth of savings. And I know that might sound like a lot, but this is a great way to start, because hopefully you're not needing it already, or maybe you are already needing it for an emergency, and that's for that. But I'm asking you, please resist the urge to spend that few $100s or few $1,000s. I know there are a lot of companies out there that are incentivizing you maybe to buy a new car or things like that, but I'm asking you to resist the urge to do that until you at least have a few months, working your way up to 6 months worth of savings. So don't let that be you where an emergency comes up and you don't have enough money to scrounge up to cover it. Only, I think, 39%, it was a bankrate.com study or survey that said that only 39% of people could pay cash. The rest of those 61% of people were either going to have to put it on a credit card and pay high interest rates, or maybe have to go to a family member or a friend to borrow some money. Some people said that they would try to make some adjustments to their savings, so things that they would generally be spending money on, they would go without for a few months to save up to cover it. So don't let that be you. I believe that whether you consciously believe it or not, you're living in a scarcity mindset. If you can't have enough money if an unexpected expense, don't let it take you out. So save that money, put it in a separate account, one that you do not touch. The sole purpose is only in the case of emergencies. So that's the first part. The second part is, how many of you know you're going to get a few $1,000s back or a few $100s back, and you structure paying your taxes that way, and then you get excited when your own money comes back to you? Don't do it that way. I'm here to tell you that there is a tool, and I'm going to link it in the video below, where you can go to the IRS's website to spend a few minutes, plug in all of your, general estimates of what what you make and some of those types of questions, and they're going to help you with your withholding, so you can go to your HR department and make sure that you are going to be much closer to what you're going to end up paying your taxes at the end of the year. And the reason you want to do that is that if you are waiting and you're excited for the IRS to give you your own money back, 6 months to a year after you earned it, you're giving the government an interest-free loan. Guess what? The bank doesn't give out interest-free loans. If they're going to, give money to let somebody borrow, they're going to be paid interest on it. And so don't give the government an interest-free loan. Try to do your best to be as accurate as you possibly can, and only pay taxes along the way that you're going to end up owing. You don't want to end up with a huge tax bill at the end of the year, because nobody wants to write a huge check that they have to part with, at the beginning of the following year. And on the flip side, don't wait and try to get excited for the government paying you your own money back, and give the government an interest-free loan of your money for that time period. So I hope that's been helpful. If you have questions or comments, please, anything down below. I would love to answer any questions. I hope you found this helpful, and I will check in with you again soon.